Emmett is a simple-minded, ordinary LEGO citizen, living his life by the instructions set by the secretly evil Lord Business.
But one day, Emmett stumbles upon an ancient relic called the Piece of Resistance, the one sole LEGO brick that can put a stop to Lord Business and his weapon, the Craggle.
It is now up to Emmett and a colorful cast of master builders to stop Lord Business before he superglues the entire LEGO universe.
The LEGO Movie is incredibly refreshing with its story. It's no secret that kids' movies tend to fall into cliches and get stuck in incredibly overdone story elements, and the LEGO Movie was in danger of doing this at multiple times, but it expertly avoided pretty much all of it. And while the basics of this story, we've seen it before, they do add a lot of new pieces, and the execution of it is so good, it feels fresh and interesting.
If at first glance you saw the LEGO Movie's marketing and thought it was just an amusing little kids flick, I wouldn't blame you. On the surface, that really is all the movie seems to be, a play-it-safe adventure starring LEGO characters designed to advertise and little else. But that very assumption is a pinpoint reason why judging things on their surface is usually a very bad thing.
Even discussing it now, there's so much about the LEGO Movie that comes off as a lot deeper than what you see at first glance. It just feels like there's more below the surface of this film, and that amazes me, and I cannot recall another animated film, at least of recent memory, that I felt about like this.
It's a film that embraces the very nature and joy of the franchise, but it's not afraid to go against the company's current business model. With a movie like this, Legos are going to be advertised no matter what you do, so the filmmakers go for genuine honesty, which I really appreciate.
Building on top of that engaging story is a good moral. The LEGO Movie doesn't take the easy route and give the kids a black and white lesson.
The movie uses a method that I like to call the multi-sided moral, in which it takes one message, but also seamlessly fuses together many other complementary, yet possibly contradictory messages. And while this could spell danger, it's clear that Phil Lord and Chris Miller definitely know what they're talking about. Everything it confronts, whether it be conforming to the social norm, or the importance of teamwork, or hell, even the necessity to believe in yourself, feels cohesive with one another to make one very strong and, honestly, very meaningful package. Sure, at first these seem like very cookie-cutter messages that tons of other films have tackled before. But this film just feels so genuine that they don't come off as, oh, we've seen this before. It comes off as a very legitimate lesson on life. And it's so refreshing, again, to see a film like this tackle so many different aspects of life.
It's actually a pretty neutral and appropriately thoughtful concept to base a LEGO Movie around. And what's better is that it's presented in a way that's approachable without being pandering. And there is such a big difference between the two. More movies need to understand that, as well as this one does.
But even if the LEGO Movie was just a toy commercial, I really don't think I would mind it, considering how incredible this movie looks.
The LEGO Movie easily has some of the best animation I've ever seen. In the first few seconds, it was pretty jarring, which concerned me, but I very quickly got used to it. From that point on, I was just wowed by the visuals. I mean, there was an excellent use of color, all of the different locations felt different, and the sheer amount of just things going on in the frame is really impressive.
No film of recent memory is as well thought out and yet just simultaneously as vibrant as the LEGO Movie. Every shot, and I mean nearly every shot, is just filled to the brim with colors and characters and just so much visual eye candy. It definitely necessitates many more viewings.
Through the utilization of smooth computer-generated motion and stop-motion animation, well, pseudo-stop motion anyway, the LEGO Movie creates a look and feel entirely of its own that is absolutely stunning.
On a technical level, the combination of stop-motion animation and CGI is completely seamless. They work off each other perfectly. The LEGO Movie is one of those films that you kind of have to respect at least a little bit, just because of the ridiculous amount of work and passion that clearly went into it.
The beauty lends itself to the absolutely outstanding action sequences, which are fast enough to keep up with the rest of the film's pace, but slow enough so that you can understand what's going on. It's action so well choreographed and so well executed that it might stand as the best action of the year.
If it wasn't already apparent enough, the LEGO Movie is just bursting with energy, and this is very clear within the comedic aspect of the film. Jokes come at you one by one in rapid succession, and this would feel a little bit pushy or possibly even annoying, except for one thing. The movie's really funny.
Lampshade hanging, visual gags, and good old slapstick headline this side-busting blast of a movie.
I mean, I was expecting it to be funny, and it is, but I was not expecting to be walking out of the theater with my friends, quoting just joke after joke. The Lego Movie approaches Monty Python level quotability. And that shows the type of humor that stays with the audience and continues to make them laugh.
The premise of this movie is already incredibly ridiculous, but thankfully Lord and Miller's screenplay perfectly complements this tone.
One noteworthy, hilarious part of the film is, oddly enough, Batman. Instead of a two-bit cameo like Superman or Wonder Woman, he's one of the supporting characters, and every line he says is absolute gold.
Will Arnett as Batman. Those were the words that actually got me excited for this movie back when it was announced. Will Arnett is a criminally underrated actor, and seeing him satirize The Dark Knight was just as wonderful as I was hoping.
The screenplay completely deconstructs the dark, brooding, and mature personality that Batman has become synonymous with over the years.
Now, we're currently in between two legitimate interpretations of the Caped Crusader, so now seems to be the perfect time for this excellent parody to take center stage.
While I don't dislike Batman, I'm really glad that somebody took the piss out of him instead of sacrificing yet another goat to his or her own personal Bob Kane shrine.
The voice cast that directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller brought together for this movie is absolutely top-notch. From Chris Pratt to Will Arnett to Will Ferrell to hell, even Liam Neeson. All of them do a brilliant job of bringing this crazy batch of characters to life. Plus, if you actually listen closely, you might be able to hear some other celebrity voices that you definitely did not expect.
The hardest part about talking about the Lego Movie is the ending. The ending makes the film, and I cannot emphasize that enough. It adds a whole new layer to the movie, and it actually fixed pretty much every problem I had with it up to that point. It's just so thoughtful, and I honestly feel like I can't really talk about the movie without talking about the ending. So if you feel like this is kind of a weak review, that's probably why. Of course, I never spoiled the film, so I'll just stop. Just keep in mind that this easily has one of the most satisfying and creative endings to a movie that I've seen in a long time, and not just kids' movies.
That doesn't mean the movie's without problems. I mean, the problems are very, very minor, but they're present all the same. The two kinds of animation, while beautiful, can become jarring at some points when put together. The smoothness of some objects clashed with the more rigidness of others can create a bit of a disjointed feel. Also, the very, very last joke, while funny, should have been saved for a mid or post-credits reveal. It's just not as conclusive to the plot as I hoped it would be.
My only real problem with the Lego Movie, besides the tiny things that I mentioned earlier that the ending pretty much fixed but are nonetheless present, is a really weird one. But it does make sense given the context, and that is that sometimes it was just pretty good. What I mean is that sometimes it was just okay. Some minutes dragged on a little bit too long here, some jokes fell flat over there, and stuff like that. Now that's not bad, it just means that it wasn't at the same level of greatness 100% of the time. Just 90% of the time. It's a really dumb complaint, I know, and that just shows how good this movie is. That tiny stuff is all I got.
Besides for one tiny plot hole I found in the end, and just taking a little bit too long for all of the morals to truly come together, it hits home in nearly every department.
The Lego Movie has no right to exist. I mean, just think about that idea. The Lego Movie? That is not something that anyone should think could be anything but a giant commercial, and everyone involved nothing but sellouts. The Lego Movie we got completely overcame that.
It's almost transcendent, like it reached self-actualization on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Beautiful animation, a stellar voice cast, a fun screenplay, a very imaginative mind behind it, and most importantly, a timeless message, or timeless messages, that everyone can relate to.
It's creative, funny, masterfully animated, and it's not trying to sell toys. It's trying to tell a story. A really great story. In a really great way. So, can I confirm that everything is awesome? No, but it is so close.
It is a legitimate masterpiece and a fantastic start to 2014's cinematic lineup.
Hopefully, just like the toys it's based on, the Lego Movie will be a film that is passed down to future generations for many years to come, because it definitely deserves to be. The Lego Movie gets a 9.5 out of 10.
The Lego Movie gets a 9 out of 10.
The Lego Movie scores a 9.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed our review. If you didn't enjoy our review, then I think the best course of action to truly and deeply offend us is to like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously, that'll ruin us, I swear. Also, make sure to visit rulethirds.com for much more content. We just launched and we cannot wait to see what the future holds. Make sure you're a part of it.